If you don't yet understand why the United States has twice as many toxic chemicals in the same product as it does in other high-income countries, stay tuned for this video because the answer is extremely simple and it makes a lot of sense. So just as a few examples, these are the Quaker Oats in the United States compared to the UK. Here is Mountain Dew in the United States compared to the UK. In the US, you see high fructose corn syrup, yellow 5, brominated vegetable oil, all kinds of crap compared to Mountain Dew in other countries. Heinz ketchup, same thing. High fructose corn syrup in the United States, no syrups whatsoever in the UK. Doritos, same thing. You get all these artificial colors. None of those are good for us. In the UK, you don't see any of that. And this is the last example that I'm going to show in this video, but hopefully you get the idea that in the United States, in the same product, there are so many more toxic chemicals. But the thing is, the reason that there are so many more toxic chemicals in the same product in the United States as compared to other high-income countries is because the same people that own all of those companies, that own the food, that own the processed food, that own Kellogg's, that own Kraft, that own Procter & Gamble, that own Johnson & Johnson, they own Pepsi, they own Coke, they own the health industry. They own the health industry. So wouldn't they want to create more customers because we are paying high dollar? Let me show you. So I'm going to briefly go through this because there's a lot of information to cover and I could go down this rabbit hole forever and ever, but let me just show you the gist of it so you get an idea. So the first food that I showed you was McDonald's French fries that had more ingredients. These are the top 3 shareholders. Keep these in mind. Remember these. The second food I showed you was Quaker Oats. They are owned by Pepsi. And when you look up Pepsi's top shareholders, oh, that's a little familiar, isn't it? I then showed you Mountain Dew and Doritos. Mountain Dew and Doritos are both owned by Pepsi, which are owned by these people. And the last one that I showed you was Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes is owned by Kellogg's. And then you see these 3 shareholders and their top shareholders again. So now that I've showed you who owns the majority of our food, let me show you who owns the healthcare industry, because I don't know that anybody will be entirely shocked. This makes so much sense, and hopefully people start to catch on, because it is why America is the way it is. So now that we know that the same people that own the healthcare industry own our food, doesn't it make sense why they would poison and target the people that pay the most for healthcare? Because here in America, we are the only high-income country that doesn't have universal healthcare, and we pay the most for healthcare by a lot. Let me show you. Our healthcare spending is actually a world outlier. That's how much we spend on healthcare. So how evil genius of them to poison the food that we consume to make us sick so that we come to the healthcare industry and become physically and financially dependent. You trying to sell a pen? Make the customer need a pen. You trying to sell a medication? Make the customer sick and need that medication. But do yourself a favor and look into what I'm talking about further, because it goes so deep. So much deeper than what I'm even explaining in this 5-minute video, because those same people that own the healthcare industry and the same people that own our food, they also own everything that we visually and auditorily consume too. They own Sony, they own Disney, they own CNN, they own Comcast, they own PBS, they own Fox, they own everything that we consume so that they can mentally manipulate us to consume their products even further. And they got us right where they want us.